Okay there boys, we got TheCrydd today playing as his Chaos Lord. And we got a very rusty Francis. I believe, man, Francis. I feel like Francis was a Orc player. Maybe I'm wrong. But he's returning, apparently. And playing Space Marines. Maybe he was Space Marines, I don't know. Francis, if you're watching, what did you play originally? Were you an Orc? Why do I feel like you were an Orc? I don't know, but we're on the reskin here of Caldaris Jungle, and this one actually... no, sorry. We're on a reskin of Caldaris Desert. I believe this is Caldaris Jungle, because, yeah, it's looking a whole lot more jungly. Very green. Scouts equipped some nice camouflage here with their little capes, fitting in very well to the jungle. Even the Tactical Marines are. Heretics, on the other hand, with their very garish yellow here, not quite blending in as well. But we'll see. So far, pretty standard builds from each side. A bit odd that there's no power coming up for Krydd. I find that very strange. Looks like the scouts here will just soft retreat back into their base. And Heretics here are going to bleed a lot. They're not really going to achieve anything. Too low HP, no aspiring champion. Yeah, going to get forced off there by the tax and all the focus fire. This is good though, yeah, tie up the tax with the CL. Get the CSM into melee with the Tech Marine. Probably want to try and disrupt these tax right now with the kill the weak. No, he's moving on. The tax are going to kill the CSM. The CSM are better in melee, of course, but... Wait, what? Oh my goodness. Well, that was very lucky. Wow, I don't know how that just happened for TheCrydd. That was very unlucky, Francis. I mean, I think Francis retreated a little bit early there. Should have tried to get the final model. The tax would have won that, but obviously they engaged very strangely. They must... You know, that one tap model must have been at the front getting punched by all three CSM, whereas the tax were spreading their damage around. Either way, it looks like these scouts picked up some shotguns that caused the heretics to retreat, and then the scouts managed to get their power node back. Looks like it was decapped. I think TheCrydd here, his major mistake is forgetting about his power. He built his node layer, and maybe he could go for Raptors now. His economy wouldn't be too imbalanced. I think he would have been able to get one generator, or at least get his node up a little bit sooner. Then he'd probably be at 450, 45 already, and he'd have those Raptors on the way. But this is not looking like a fantastic position here. I don't know why the Chaos Lord is in range stance. That's a bit weird from TheCrydd. A lot of bleed, a little bit of missed micro there from the scouts of Francis. I feel like they could have backed off and not got caught by the heretics. Man, I thought this scout was running down here to throw retreating aid, but no, we don't have any sergeants on the way. So, TheCrydd does get the 45 power and is going to be going through a Raptor squad. Kind of makes sense against the Tech Marine if you're playing Chaos Lord. Just overwhelm the enemy with melee. And especially if the Tech Marine is going to be going for Devastators, I mean, it just makes your Raptors pretty free. I mean, compositionally right now, this is a lot better for TheCrydd. Should be able to overwhelm Francis quite easily. You might want to consider going for the Combi Bolter. He's using the Chaos Lord in range stance a lot. I don't really know why, because the DPS is just not that good. He does 100% fire on the move anyway, so just throw him into melee. And if he had the Combi Bolter, using him in range stance, I'd understand, because he basically does as much damage in range as he does in melee then. But right now, with his default sidearm, he'd do a lot more damage in melee, and he has full fire on the move, so just throw him at the heretics, and if they run, he'll shoot, you know? Strange. So we've only got one shotgun so far. The classic, keep one shotgun, one scout squad basic, and then get your shotgun and your sergeant the other one. Use the upgraded one to fight, and use the basic one to cap. But with there being double heretics, a Chaos Lord, and Raptors, we might want to see some more shotguns. We'll see. A little bit odd, I think, that the Devastators there didn't back off into the garrison. Instead, we're going over this way. Kind of left themselves open to that jump from the Raptors. I don't know what's going on here with the Tracers. Some of the Tracers are very weird. The Raptors really want to get out of here. They are killing a lot of models here from the Scouts. Oh, that was a bit of an ambitious retreat. Not retreat nade. Nade spike from the Scouts there. But yeah, TheCrydd, I feel like he's getting quite lucky, getting out again with no model losses in his Raptors. Very fortunate distribution of damage for him there. CSM not in such a fortunate position, getting outflanked by Tactical Space Marines who will beat them in ranged. CSM have a little bit less HP than Tax. And they don't have Kraken rounds either. But they are cheaper, and they can get Eternal War to passively boost their damage, which will bring them a lot more in line with attacks. They'll beat them assuredly in melee then, but not in ranged. And a bit of poor positioning here from TheCrydd. This CSM here, sorry, is not in cover, and I'm worried that he's going to die again. Oh my god, Krydd has been so lucky with his damage distribution. I don't know how this is happening. I feel like he really deserved to lose a CSM there. But the combination of shotguns and the Tech Marine should be able to deal with this CL pretty easily. These are some crazy tracers on these shotgun scouts. I don't know what's going on with that. And yeah, so just got the naked one. Did go for the mastercrafted bolter, which I find very unusual. Maybe he wants to try stun the raptors. Well, not stun them, but suppress them with the high-powered shot and then hit them with a grenade. That could be pretty brutal. Generally, I probably would have just waited for the axe in tier 2 or the plasma gun. But we'll see, we'll see. A little bit slow to respond here, TheCrydd. I really would have liked to have seen the combi bolter on the CL and then send him off over this way. I think it'd have been a lot more effective. Oh, this is a precarious position for the heretics. Potential for a retreat grenade here. But the scouts are too busy moving around trying to get into position for the nade that they're not actually killing the heretics, so they're not forced to retreat. And in the middle here, raptors will just easily jump onto the Devastator, rout them. There's no bionics here on the Tech Marines, so can't do anything against the heretics. And yeah, unfortunately for Francis, he messes up the grenade. Not a bad play there by TheCrydd. Distracted Francis first with the engagement in the middle, and then he probably hit retreat on his heretics straight away. And by the time Francis realised, it was probably too late, and hence he missed the grenade. So a nice little bit of foresight there, not to panic and retreat too soon, and then just leave yourself in a position where, well, you're basically going to guaranteed lose your heretic squad, because it's not like you can do anything to dodge the grenade when they're already retreating. Unless you're the Chaos Sorcerer, then you can, because you can teleport your own squad, but there we have it. So far the game is pretty damn even, honestly. Like, these guys are basically equal in tech. They're not very far apart in VPs, so could be in for a long one here, this SM versus CSM. Well, that's a nice high-powered shot. Now you've got the Kraken rounds and the Tech Marine DPS. Wow, the Raptors are going in, not realizing there was Devastators behind them. Some melee hits here from the Tax could be pretty scary. Again, though, somehow... Oh, finally! TheCrydd loses a model on his Raptors. Honestly, Jesus, he should have lost one of those Marine models a long time ago. But Francis will be happy with that. And he needs it, because TheCrydd's economy is looking really good. I assume TheCrydd is wanting a Chaos Dreadnought at this point. He's not far off in power. He does have the wreck. Still no upgrades on the Chaos Lord. We've got a little bit of flanking scouts right now. Going to bleed some of these heretics. Yeah, they've got to get out of there. Lots of DPS. And now the Chaos Lord isn't really going to achieve much either. So it's going to be Bloodletters apparently. A little bit late on them. Maybe he was weighing up whether he really wanted the Dreadnought or not. I do think going for the Dreadnought would have been a lot more effective. And right now, going for the Bloodletters, it's going to leave him quite vulnerable to the Razorback. I don't know if he's aware that Francis is also in tier 2. Of course, Francis right now is quite aware that TheCrydd is, seeing that big demon maul on the Raptors there. Nothing to protect the Devastators really, so this could be a pretty brutal engagement. They do have that 20% melee resist, but wow, they are losing health real quick. Demonic Fury there used on the Devastators as well. Grenades a complete swing and a miss. But we see both the scout squads are fully upgraded at this point, so Raptors don't want to re-engage. They're just going to get shot to pieces and not shotgun blasted. So he's going to rotate around to try and rejoin his army perhaps. We've got these scary looking white Bloodletters moving over. But there's no real AV right now. There's only the little bit of power melee damage on the Bloodletters, but that's not heavy melee, so... There's not really anything to kill the Razorback. Devastators need to be very careful. There's Bloodletters under worship, like, right there. Now the Tech Marine needs to be careful too. You're going to back off. Razorback should just continue focus firing the heretics. Just I've got to get rid of the heretics, otherwise the bloodletters are just going to be healing, and the Razorbacks are going to take forever to kill anything. And you can see with the rear armor hits, they do decent damage, even just being power melee. Now this is not an upgraded Razorback, this is only a standard one, but ultimately the Razorback is very fast, it should be able to kite these bloodletters quite effectively. Yeah, and that's them going to have to leave. They did get the tax down to half HP, which is nice. They're going to be in base a little while, not capping, instead healing. And we see some pressure here onto the natural from the Chaos Lord. Would like to see some upgrades here for the Chaos Lord. I also would have liked to have seen some Plague Marines instead of the Havocs, but the Havocs are cheaper, so we'll see. Cheaper in Wreck anyway. And I guess TheCrydd has a shitload of power right now, but not a lot of Wreck, so maybe that's why he didn't go for the Plague Marines. I just think the combo of Plague Marines plus Raptors with a heavy melee is so strong against transports. Because the Plague Marines have that mobile snare. Obviously a last cannon will also snare, but it's not mobile. It can be a lot easier for the Razorback to evade it, especially if we've got good scout usage, where the scouts are always going ahead of the positions where the Razorback wants to go to scout. That is their role after all. We've got a little bit of a plasma gun here. I mean, it will help against the CSM and the Raptors. Not so much against everything else. Well, Havoc now too. We'll see. Would like to see the Drain Life probably on the Chaos Lord at this point. Just start sniping some of these models. You can pick up the Devastators as well, wherever they are. They're running over here by the natural. Just defending that, fair enough. We've got a turret in the mid, so that's going to stop these CSM from getting the cap. It's pretty nice actually for Francis, to be fair. Again, this would be something that the Plague Marines would be great at, because they shoot like normal while suppressed. But of course the Raptors can just jump on the turret as well, and the last cannon can outrange it. Just get sight with Bloodletters under Warp Shift. A massive micro error from Francis. What on earth was he doing? I'm not sure where he was trying to send those Devastators, but yeah, they ran into the wrong neighborhood, running into Raptors and Bloodletters. They got killed very, very fast there. Perhaps it was some sort of micro error. Trying to blob his army, send it over this direction. They want to run down this way, but yeah. Not good. And now the turret is probably going to die. Oh yeah, it's 100% dead because of the last cannon. Goodbye. But let us phase out. Perhaps the Raptors should be capping so that the Heretics can worship. Not sure. Oh, they're just going to stop anyway. Yeah, Havocs needs to get back a bit. Bloodletters need to get stuck in. Pretty nice grenade there on the Raptors. Will the Scouts manage to get out alive? Indeed they do. One more hit there from the Bloodletters would have been the death of them. But with the Demon Maul on the Raptors, this should be the end of it. No, he doesn't have no Demon Maul because the AC is already dead. Oh, that's not good. And we've still got a Chaos Lord in range stance. I don't know what this is all about. Range stance, but no combi bolter. Wow, the plasma shot there just finished off the Raptor. That was pretty brutal. Obviously weakened a lot by the constant tickling there from the Twin Link bolter on the Razorback, but wow. That's why plasma guns are scary, man. The burst damage from them's just nuts. I mean, the DPS is good, but the DPH is really good. Francis needs to be careful here. I was just going to say, he's going to lose the Razorback. He's already lost it. Oh my goodness. I don't know what that was. Like I was saying, you need to send the scouts in first to scout. That is their role. They're higher than average speed and higher than average sight range. They can infiltrate. Granted, you do have to buy an upgrade, but, you know, that is what you should be doing. And yeah, losing the Razorback, Francis cancels his purchase of a Dreadnought that he had queued up, and he's going to be going for a Librarian instead, I guess, figures. Well, there's already AV on the field. Why get a Dreadnought when you've already got AV to hurt it? And again, I think right now, either that plasma gun or that, what the hell is it called? The axe? Is it literally just a power axe? I don't know. The axe that he gets would be amazing right now. The axe is particularly good against Bloodletters because it drains their energy, so they can't just spam their abilities. So a couple of nice grenades there. You know, we're killing 6 or so heretics. It's not crazy because heretics are very cheap, but it's better than nothing. Did any scouts die? No. So you see, this is what Space Marines do. Even if they're losing in the map control, they bleed you, and they get XP, and their units gradually get disproportionately better than yours because of those XP gains, and then they just win massive army versus army fights in the late game. Nice lucky special there from the Librarian, of course, attacking the CSM. He can proc specials a lot easier. Just lucky that he got a nice AoE one to knock the Bloodletters over just as they engaged. But I didn't even realise TheCrydd has purchased a Chaos Dreadnought, so that is going to be pretty tough to deal with. In fact, Francis was starting to go tier 3, he's changed his mind, he's cancelled it, now he sees the Dreadnought. He's going to be getting a las cannon himself, so now both players will have las cannons. Now Francis will be able to support his las cannon with a Librarian, remove its setup times, teleport it around, so that could be quite useful. But generally, you know, one las cannon, I think even supported by a Librarian, not really too consistent alone at taking down a walker, but we could see a swap out to the melter gun. We already see the Orbs of the Omnissiah has been purchased, so we'll have to see how that fares. Well, the problem here for TheCrydd is going to be losing his aspiring champion heretics for no reason, but the problem for Francis, what I actually meant, was how is he going to actually deal with this Dreadnought? Apparently, because everyone's throwing everything they've got. Oh, okay, we've got a melter gun. Where is the Chaos Lord? The Chaos Lord has already had to retreat. And there is nothing left. I'm a little bit confused as to what happened. So the Bloodletters teleported in, they force off the las cannon Devastators, so the Dreadnought then feels like it can engage, but why did it not just force melee onto the Melter Tech Marine, which was basically the only other AV around? I suppose, I don't know, he just didn't see that opportunity, and then he got hit by an Orbs as the Omnissiah, and then he basically dies. Now obviously you would have hoped the Chaos Lord was around and could have tied up that Tech Marine, but not the case, too low HP. So Francis really just managing that engagement much better. Now he's going to be getting a Dreadnought of his own. We've still got the Chaos Lord in range stance. I don't know what TheCrydd is doing with this Chaos Lord. It's so weird. And here we go, boys. We've got the classic tier 3 tech. No, not very much. He cancels it. Gonna go for Bloodletters. Well, I think TheCrydd's kind of screwed now, if I'm being honest with you. That's a nice strat. Sacrificing the already only temporary Bloodletters to get even more temporary Bloodletters and force off these units. Saving TheCrydd a little bit of EPs. Nothing major, though. Alright, so he cancels the Bloodletters because he sees that there's a Dreadnought and he's going to get Plague Marines, but there's not a lot to support the AV here. Francis actually, I feel like if he goes for ASM right now, he'd be in an amazing spot. Doesn't need to though. Honestly, he is playing Tech Marine, he could get another Dreadnought. Oof. The classic Scouts infiltration into a grenade. And will they actually get the wipe? No, I don't think so. Now they're shooting the CSM instead. Very close though. I just think with that last engagement, losing the Bloodletters and the Dreadnought, I mean, yeah. And now he's losing CSM models. These tacks are probably getting a bunch of levels. Oh my god, they're already level 4. Holy shit, look at the difference. Level 1 CSM to level 4 attacks. Yikes. I mean, it's going to be Plague Marines plus Bloodletters. Dreadnought right now is very isolated. Where are the Havocs? Oh shit, the Havocs are here as well. Oh, he gets the double snare. Plague Marines need to start moving forward. If you can kill the Dreadnought here, that would be amazing. I think that's the last las cannon shot though. Plague Marines are being used very poorly here. Why are they not kiting? Okay, we've got some Khorne worship. I don't think this thing can set up fast enough though, even with that worship. Well, maybe with the snares from the Plague Marines, but they're getting blocked by line of sight right now. Bloodletters are doing a decent job trying to disrupt things, but they're fighting solo, and it's not ideal. Oh, this is pretty silly. He engages in melee again with a Dreadnought, but he's left the Las Havoc uncontended, but there's going to be a grenade flying over. Okay, well that's going to disrupt it. Okay, they retreat. Damn, the Dreadnought survives. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad for TheCrydd. Francis is now going tier 3. I'm sure he can just drop down ranged Terminators and win this now at this point. It's a shame because I feel like TheCrydd was ahead for most of this game, just completely through it, but that's what happens in Dawn of War 2. Can't just be gifting unit wipes to your opponent, you know, that is going to swing the game for sure. Khorne Marines now though, I actually like that quite a lot. It's going to be impossible with the lack of levels to deal with these attacks in range. So yeah, fight it in melee. And honestly, I don't know why Francis committed so hard to trying to get the gem bash here. It is pretty damn late in the game. I mean, check out TheCrydd's economy. Oh my god, that grenade spike. That was brutal. I am getting seriously triggered with the TheCrydd's Chaos Lord being in range stance all the time. He should have been in melee with that Tech Marine the entire engagement. Like, what the hell, man? Get this guy out of range stance. And if you're putting him in range stance all the time, buy the friggin' combi bolter. What on earth are you doing? Absolutely mental behaviour. Why would you have him in range stance and not have the combi bolter? He's literally been in range stance all game. The combi bolter is more than double the range damage. Please. So Francis throws away his Dreadnought, but I mean, he's going to be able to get Terminators. Does actually have the red for it, just needs a little bit more requisition at this point. That said, Terminators, I mean, there's Khorne Chaos Space Marines and there's Bloodletters as well, so Terminators aren't going to be a free win, but it's, I don't know, I mean, it's going to be hard to deal with. Okay, yep, TheCrydd just lost his Heretics, lost his Chaos Lord. He's focusing down here. Not getting grenaded, but yeah, compositionally I just don't know what he can do. As you can see, TheCrydd is already struggling just to deal with the current forces of Francis, never mind if there were well microed Terminators as well. Just stay around this area with Termies so they can get back to the base relatively quickly, but you know, they're contributing to these fights. I mean, we could see a Vendread as well, but yeah, I think Terminators are the right choice. You know, there's already a las cannon plus a Plague Marine squad. It's going to be instant assault cannon. Makes sense. There's no big vehicles that you'd want the Cyclone missile launcher against. The Heavy Flamer doesn't seem very useful here. The primary threats are the Khorne Marines and Bloodletters, both of whom, yeah, the assault cannon is going to be better than the Flamers against these kind of targets. I mean, in theory, if Francis really overextends his Terminators, because they can't retreat, they could be killed relatively fast by the Khorne Marines and Bloodletters, you know, both of them doing power melee damage. Terminators are actually, well, ranged Terminators are actually the only unit in the SM roster with no melee resist, so it is possible, but realistically, when you have a Librarian which could use Gate of Infinity to teleport them away, Veil of Time to boost their speed, you've got Shotgun Scout support, you've got all this ranged pew pew. I don't think realistically this is going to happen. Again, beautiful little nade spike there. Man, I hate nade spiking. I think it's so dumb. I mean, I should get a pickup here on the Tech Marine. Does. These guys need to be so careful of a grenade right now. Okay, fair enough. But the problem right now for the TheCrydd is an absolute absence of VPs. And I guess he's just going to get harassed by these very high damage ranged units right now. Las Cannon Havoc will attempt to decap that natural VP, but don't know how effective that's going to be. Scouts should be able to stop that Las Cannon Havoc. Let's see how these guys can do. Yeah, just nowhere near enough damage. We got Bloodlust, but it's just going to take too long. They can't survive long enough. I mean, Yeah. They're just chilling in melee and beating them. Just too much DPS coming out of these ranged squads for very fragile chaos units, really. I mean, level 2 KCSM, level 1 Bloodletters, level 4 Tax, and level 3 Librarian. I think that kind of says it all, really. But there you go, folks. Oh my god, stop. Did manage to get the Havocs there, but ultimately couldn't get the mid, and obviously wasn't able to contest the natural either. Terminators sealing the deal there for Francis. You like to see it. Terminators are useful. You just gotta be careful. They're not literally Terminators of everything. They're useful in certain instances, such as that. What a throw. What more can I say? Hope you did enjoy that one, folks. That is going to be all from you, boy Torpid. This time, signing out.